I'm not even going to lie to you. The coffee yesterday was a bad choice. And staying up very, very late. All you can really do is just play games. Thankfully, a lot of the demos that we played kind of got my attention. I was playing Miglorn for another like 4 hours. It's really good. Playing that and Voin, playing for a very, very long time. Hey, stick, man. Hello, hi, chat. How are you? So that's why today's stream is late. But hey, at least you made it. We're gonna be doing something interesting today. One, there's three horror games. Two short, I think. I don't know. And one long at Sand Hill, which is gonna end off on Sand Hill. Two, we're gonna start with some interesting stories as well as some weird stuff that I found online. And you're gonna, if you don't enjoy it, that's fine. But it's interesting to me because it's stuck in my head. You didn't make it. What does that mean? It sounds so ominous. It's like, are you okay? Like, should I call the police or something? Like, Jesus. Okay, maybe saying made it or didn't make it is the one thing that I shouldn't say. You came and it was already made. Oh, poetry. Beautiful. Good job. You've earned +2 mod points. I'm in a phone call today in a very long time. This may surprise you because I sound incredibly confident on stream. But when I make a phone call, I'm a stuttering mess, especially when it's a phone call for a personal connection. That's not, I don't mean as like someone that I know, but somebody that I know that I have to like respect, and they respect this person. Yeah, I fumbled it. I think I stuttered most of my words, and so the voicemail that I left was like it was supposed to be 20 seconds and ended up being 2 minutes from all the stuttering. I then hit the end call button and I just sat with my face in my palm and I was like, aren't we all like it like that? Yeah, but I'm like 29. I thought by this point I would have figured it out. You know what I mean? But then I realized something. Doesn't matter how old you are, anxiety affects you the same way. But damn, it really affected me. But yeah, that was funny to me because I told my wife and she said this. It's pretty funny actually. She said, "My poor baby. That's a cute little quirk. My little stutter baby." She's like, "It's such a cute little quirk," and I'm over here like. So yeah, it's good. And you know what? I'm living proof of you can still be something even if you stutter. I don't know what the thing is, but hey, people like listening to me talk, which means the stuttering isn't really bothering people, which is actually fascinating to me. It's the one thing that I thought would bother people a lot is me stuttering very, very often, but it seems like most people don't really care. That or the people who did care left a long time ago. We're gonna be checking out some weird things today. Unfollowing. I can't listen to this guy. I'm unfollowing. As I mentioned, we're playing 3 horror games today. No One Lives Under the Lighthouse by a group called the Marvel Collective. I'll talk about them more later. Late Homework by Solar Raptor, who also made. I always do this. I need to remember. Who also made Interior Worlds, the liminal photography game that I was like, this is a great game. They made a game called Hypnagogia too, which I really want to try out or like play at some point, but it's one of those like long RPG games, so we have to wait until we do it. But this is a newer game that they're working on as part of a game jam that they're expanding for the Steam release. Then we're playing some more Silent Hill too. Before that, I want to show you this. Let me get the tabs ready. Sorry. We're going to be looking at some game design documents. This is weird because who would do this? But I was really in the weeds with something. I was in the weeds primarily with Snow Job because I'm sick and tired of people saying that Snow Job will never be done. So, for those of you who don't know, Snow Job is a game that I'm making on the Sandbox, whatchamacallit, engine. And because of all the there's no model today because it's horror game day and my computer can't run these. As part of that process of proving to you all that I can make and finish a game, I realized I have no clue what even I want to make it in the game anymore because every idea that we've had has been condensed down into videos. And then I was going through the videos and I realized something. One, videos are awful to record ideas in because are you really going to watch an 8-hour video of yourself programming to figure out what you even wanted to do? No. You should write that down and condense it down. Really, it's sort of like a practice in general. Condense it into a form that's easy to read over very quickly so that you can refer back to it immediately. 2, even if you use text-to-speech, it doesn't make that any faster. So I had to go back from scratch and rewatch all those VODs and just figure out what exactly I was thinking of. And now I'm finally caught up on my own VODs of it. And I have a good sense of what I'm doing, but I don't know how to really describe what I want to do or what I should be doing to describe it. So we're going to go down a learning path together because I've heard about this thing called a game design document, which I've heard two things about it. It used to be more of a design Bible where it was much more hard coded at the beginning of a project, so it never changed its form. You pretty much just wrote the thing and made the thing to the thing based on the thing for the entire lifetime of the thing. Whereas now it's more of a living Wikipedia article, which I don't know how I feel about that because I tried to run MediaWiki on my own and it was a disaster. So we'll see how this goes. No one lives out in the lighthouse will either make me rip my pants or just delete it from boredom. You know what? I think that's a great description of it, and I think that makes me want to play it more because I enjoy the slow burn horror games, right? And I think it's to be fair, it's like hard to really get into a slow burn horror game because it's like horror tends to have a pacing issue where if you don't feel it immediately, people sort of wonder like, what's the point? And it's very hard for a lot of people to get immersed into an experience, right? Like it's everyone has a different tolerance level for immersion, and so it's like, how do you get into it? It's really difficult to say. For me, I get too immersed anyway, so hopefully this works out, and I always feel afraid the entire time. Let's see how it goes. But before we do that, we have to go over this because I need to know what the hell goes into a game design document. Because I found a bunch of templates. Okay, found one from Pirate Software. Found one from like actual game devs. I found four of these from actual game devs. So this is the Doom Bible by Tom Hall, revision number .2, made in '92. So this is the thing that they used to actually make Doom. Found the one for Diablo, which I mean, Diablo 1 was made off of like 5 of 8 pages. I remember reading this when I was like a long time ago, but I realized I never really absorbed what it was trying to say and what the formatting was or like what it was trying to convey, right? And the hard part about documenting anything is how do you convey an idea towards some goal? Like how do you communicate your ideas in a way that somebody else can absorb them, let alone you, right? You absorbing them is one thing. You have a bit of that understanding of yourself. But even then, I don't know if you have this issue, Chad. It doesn't matter what you do. You look back at what you do maybe like even like a month ago, and you say, what the hell was I doing? It's because all of a sudden you've grown so much that you see all these flaws that you didn't see before that you can't even begin to imagine your mindset at that time. And so it becomes foreign to you again. The thing that you made by your own hands with your own self becomes as foreign as somebody else's work to you. And this is sort of something that I found that it doesn't really exist, not just in programming too. Like I think of like the ways I used to cook food, and I go, oh my god, like what was I thinking doing this and that back then? You know, we do that every day, exactly, and it's like an everyday thing. It's a good sign of progress, right? Because it means that you are growing and changing every day, and that you're absorbing new material, right? And ultimately, it's important to grow every day because the circumstances of life change every day. It's important to sort of get a sense of who you are and what the world is as best as you can, and try your best to keep up with it, knowing that it'll be impossible in many ways, but just enough that you can stay on the side of good, right? Doing something good, doing something meaningful, whatever that is for you too. Like I'm not going to prescribe anything for you. This is not like a moralistic debate. It's whatever you decide and how you define those terms for yourself. But at the same time, I mean that's like change every single day. It's like waking up and saying, you know what, just fuck my shit up, just every single day. And that's kind of what I feel here, because it's like I really don't know what I was thinking of when I was doing this. But then it's like, how do you explain this in a way that doesn't feel like that? And how do you explain this stuff that I'm thinking of for this game, Snow Job, in a way that's going to help me carry forward a particular vision all the way through? And I realized two things, right? One, I don't even know what goes into a game design doc, like this specific format. So maybe in my mind, when I hear like you have to do X, Y, Z, I get stuck in this loop of like, what is the format of the thing? And so maybe doing this will help me dispel that you even need a format. Because I've even heard that the format now is just a living wiki. And so it's just a matter of how do you organize your information. Two, I don't even know what I want from Snow Job, which we won't get into today. That's going to be a talk on during November. But I'll be doing that off stream and figuring out, and then I'll update you all on November when we start the entire month. So in November, I'm not streaming anymore. I'm not streaming playing games. We're going to stream programming for the entire month because I'm sick and tired of Chad making fun of me. So I thought we should start with this. Just to go over this, because these are interesting too in a way to see like, I guess like old game history. But last time we went over the American McGee, which that's his name. I really didn't know that was his name, and I'm so sorry. Like honestly, if you say American McG, it's like Ford Motors. I don't know. It just sounds like a company. But the problem is that like Ford was somebody's name too. So it's like maybe it's just it's a case of the subject becoming so common in everyday parlance that it eventually becomes a a concept more than a person, right? It's like saying yeah, it's like saying like where's your Ford or something, or like that's so I don't know. That's so fetch. I don't know. It's just I'm trying to think of like a name that has that same value now. Too old of a name. Yeah, too old of a name, or just too because it's the same name as a product, and because the product saying like, hey, you have your Ford. It's like yeah, sure. It's like now it's too much of an item. It's like saying Kleenex, right? When the name becomes a brand, it becomes more of a brand than a name because in society and in the current market set up within the West, at least we care more about and I only say the West because that's all I know. Um, well, Canada and the in Canada and the United States, we care more about the monetary value that you can bring to the overall system than you as a person necessarily. So yeah, let's just go on forward. What was I even talking about? I don't even know. This is a Diablo game pitch. This is probably the simplest one to start with because again, it's 8 pages. I just can't believe it's 8 pages. We did it for Alice in Wonderland American McG. That was good. The Doom Bible is 79 pages, and I have no clue what to go over here. This is only going to be like a 30-minute segment, so we have to go fast. The following is Condor Inc. Oh yeah, because it used to be like a. What's weird is you read the history of Diablo or like Blizzard. They used to be like an educational company. Strange. So imagine you're making Leapfrog, and then one day your coworker comes in and is like, "Hey, remember Satan?" It's like, okay, listen, buddy. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's just make a game about the devil. It's like, sure. Oh man, you buy a Leapfrog for your child, and all of a sudden it like says, "Join the Union." Diablo captures familiar fantasy elements within a unique structure designed for maximum replayability, expandability, versatility. Fills a neglected niche in the community game market, which is funny because I feel like roguelikes were all people had back then. As games today substitute gameplay with multimedia extravaganzas and strive toward needless scale and complexity, we seek to reinvigorate the hack and slash feel-good gaming audience. The feel-good gaming audience. I'm very glad that the term feel-good has been used for a long time. I hear feel-good so often in marketing teams they have to work with in like companies. And I'm like, what does it mean to feel good? Because like feeling good really depends on whoever you are, right? Like if you're sick and your leg is broken, taking painkillers feels good. If you just came back from a busy day of work, a nice casual game of Stardew Valley feels good. If you have anger issues and you want to get all your like pent up stress out, maybe playing Doom feels good. Feel good feels so oddly vague that it could mean anything, and it's like the perfect marketing buzzword because like who wouldn't want to feel good? And if you say, well, I don't want to feel good, it's like, well, you're stupid. It's a great marketing buzzword. I'm glad that they used it here back in '94. Yeah. So emphasis will be on exploration, conflict, and character exploration. Okay, sure. This document will be expanded upon and modified when development is initiated. Oh, so this is just sort of a. I guess this is like a marketing pitch. I guess that makes sense, right? Because just give a timeline to be like, when do we expect the game to be finished? In a year? Wait, hold up. How long did it take to make? Diablo 1. Wikipedia. Okay. How long did it take to make? Released in January 1997. Here we go. So, yeah. So they started the idea in 1994 to 1995. They released the game in 1997. So I'm not the only one who vastly overestimates their capability and underestimates the amount of work that needs to be done. I'm not the only one. That is funny to think about, though. 1997 to 1994, yeah. 2 or 3 years. Hey, you know what? Maybe Snow Job will be done even sooner. Well, so it is interesting that it says 1994 here, but then in Wikipedia they say that they could see the other game in 1995 because the Justice League game came out in 1995. Oh, but it says during development, and 1995 is just when the game released. Right. So yeah, so it has to be 19. Yeah, so 3 years. I'm just saying. I'm still on the mark, okay? And I'm just saying, my game is significantly simpler than Diablo, so should get it done by November. Role-playing game, an attempt to find and destroy Diablo, the devil himself. All the action takes place in an isometric 3/4 perspective with diamond-shaped square floor pieces. Many beneficial weapons. A player will have a choice of many races and classes. Races. I guess they threw away the race idea. Although it would have been cool to be like an elf or something. There's a randomly generated dungeon. New dungeon levels generate each time using a dynamic random level generation DRLG system. I love how people make acronyms for things that don't need acronyms. But I guess it makes sense if you want to describe like a system as a whole. This is the random halls, largest set pieces, expandability and replay value. The random dungeons, unique encounters. No two games will be the same. New magic items can be added to base game finish purchase and integrated directly. See discussion of expansion packs later in the document. Support 2-player and multiplayer game sessions via modem and network. A special arena mode will be available for once to put their characters against each other. I don't think that ever materialized. Plot and setting. Wait, so that's it? That's all they describe about the game? Maybe my game design document is good then. Maybe what I've written is good. If this passed, like, okay, to be fair, in 1995, or 1994, I'm sure getting investment from your boss when your company is like 10 people strong, Condor, and you make educational games. It's fairly easy if you hand them a document that says we're going to make a real game that doesn't just teach children how to write, words. And it's like, yeah, let's go. But even then, I feel like maybe I've written enough, right? If this passes muster, maybe my idea of a gameplay about a game about rolling snow and making snow structures, like that's all you really need. Maybe I need to post it online so people know where it is, so people can like look at it. I need to do that actually. I'll think about that. Plot doesn't really matter to me. It is easier when there aren't any monopolies in the market either. That's a good point too, actually. Yeah, because especially in 1995, I mean, what's like the games released between 1990 and 95? There you go, the 1990s in games. This is a weird article. Why does Wikipedia have this? I mean, it's kind of a stacked year. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the year when we got. Wow. I think this is the year when like entire genres were born. This is I don't know about the Monopoly bit. I think falls apart here. Let's see. Pokemon Gold and Silver. That's 99. Star Fox, Unreal Tournament. Oh, but this is 99. I guess if you didn't have Unreal Tournament, and thus the multiplayer boom. In fact, but the year before was Doom. But Doom didn't have multiplayer, right? I don't remember it having. I'm like 99% certain Unreal Tournament and like Quake was like the ones that had multiplayer. And Doom and Wolfenstein 3D were purely single player, but really good. In which case, it makes sense then, right? So by this point, there's no cool multiplayer game that has this weird online, single player roguelike gameplay, so it's fine. So, aka dynamic gameplay doesn't really exist. You just done like once you finish the game, then you're done, right? And then it's only 5 years later or 4 years later when UT would drop. And that's when things got really good. Half-Life came out in 98. Okay, that's insane. To see the wait, so within 3 years you go from a game like Diablo 1 to Half-Life? That's actually an insane jump of like quality. No, this is absurd. How did they do this? It's like night and day. MGS released that year. Yeah. You think the market was crazy enough? Yeah. I guess it's like it's pretty hard to slide into this market. And then they made StarCraft after Ocarina of Time was 98. Super Mario World being in the 90s is pretty crazy. Sonic the Hedgehog 91 is where it all went downhill. Street Fighter 2, okay, I do remember Street Fighter 2 because my brother played a lot of that. So there's a ton of Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat did not make it, sadly. I mean, it's still there. It's just not. I don't know. It's just weirdly not as popular. 96 was Quake. Holy shit. Okay, I remember Quake being really good. Yeah, this is good. Grand Theft Auto 1? 97. Super Mario 64 in 96. To go from Super Mario World to Super Mario 64 in the span of 6 years, that's pretty impressive. Like, think of another game that could go down that same leap of change in a single session. GoldenEye. It's based on the 1995. 1995 was when GoldenEye released the movie. Huh. It's weird. Civilization, Ridge Racer, Sonic Adventures. Okay, look, let's just say it's a stacked year. Okay, but even then, I can see it. I mean, it's still probably easier still, right? It's. I'm pretty sure back at this time, there still wasn't this idea of like major giant. Actually, when did the Atari? It all depends on Atari. Because the story with Atari and EA is that Atari was like the company that took in game developers, stripped their names from games because they wanted to just be able to replace game developers at the will. They're the reason why EA exists, Electronic Arts, because EA was founded as a developer and artist first company, and only later in this day became its sort of like very money profit focused corporation. For real, yeah, that's the actual story. The story is that when they were making games for the Atari stuff, they weren't like their names were getting stripped from it. So then the people left and they were like, okay, we're going to make our own thing. So here, look, if you go to Electronic Arts, it's just sort of like the perversion of everything that we know and love. Here, Apple employee had refined his thing. I wish maybe this doesn't say it, but there was a good article on GameDevelopers.com, which used to be Gamma Suture. Let's see, was it Atari? Yeah, I don't know. Was it artist? First, artist. There we go. Yeah. Hawkins had developed the ideas of treating software as an art form. So Hawkins being the person who founded EA, and calling the developers software artists. That's why that's why it was like this. Where did EA go so horribly wrong? Venture capitalism. Well, I mean, not venture capitalism, but just in general, it's like once you get into the public market, and your stock price determines a lot more than what you make, because like what they make pales in comparison to the amount of money that's being moved in the stock market, right? So let's say revenue is 7 billion, right? I don't know how much is their stock right now. I don't know, like EA stock. There we go. Is there a way to see how many units of stock? EA total stock value. It's total stock units on market. Common stock. Here we go. Nasdaq. Yeah, Nasdaq. Yeah, sure. Right, it's Nintendo. Today's high share volume, average volume, share volume, 52-week market cap is 38 billion. So market cap is 38 billion, and their revenue year to year is only 7 billion. So the stock market alone for the shares of this company is like trading, how many multiples above? So let's say 38 divided by 7. It's trading 5 times above operating whatever the thing is. So it's like 5 times the revenue of the company is being traded on the market as is in terms of raw value. I think that's what market cap means, right? Pretty sure. It's been a long time since I've had to go over this. Market cap. What does it mean? Hey, good. Investopedia. Sure. Here we go. Total dollar value. So yeah, this is the total dollar value. Yep, of a company's outstanding shares of stock. So outstanding being the ones that you can purchase. There's probably like more internal ones that they issue, but those are probably like locked down under different deals, like say founders or stock grants and stuff like that. But these are the ones that are available on the market. So you're looking at 5 times the value of whatever the company makes year per year on the stock market, right? Which means if the company has even a fifth of the slice of the stocks, which you need a fair number of stocks to sort of, in general, internally, it means that if you have just that much, you make more than the company as a whole does make on their products. So let's say a game like, I don't know, like how much Call of Duty, I guess like, I don't know, EA Call of Duty earnings. I don't know if they're even current game. So Call of Duty is estimated to have generated, let's say from Statista.com, as of June 2022, Call of Duty has been estimated to make at least $30 billion in lifetime revenue, right? That's still $8 billion less than the current market cap of EA, which means Even Call of Duty wasn't able to make enough to dwarf the stock size. Obviously, there's a relationship between this number and the revenue numbers that they pull, right? If the revenue numbers were lower, this number would be significantly lower, like lower too. If EA made only $10 from all of their games, their stock price would be probably like valued at a single penny. It would be like a single penny stock, and the entire market cap might even be like $1. But it's because they make so much money with their games that the market cap can go so high. But it's just sort of what happens when like even if it does that, it doesn't mean that the games are still the focus, because it's very easy to be deluded into believing that this is the real focus. Because like, why wouldn't you? If you're like a person on the team who has the ability to call the shots, to say what to do, why wouldn't you want to just focus on raising stock price to gain the most value for yourself versus making a good game to draw revenue? When Call of Duty across its entire lifetime only made $30 billion, and you stand to gain $38 billion just by playing stocks alone. Anyways, stocks are stupid. Stocks are stupid. But I think that's why. That's just my theory. That's just my theory that like when a company goes public, it's very hard for them to stay in the same path, because there's a hard path and there's an easy path. And there's a relationship between those two paths, but the relationship is often not actually one-to-one. Like, EA could have a number of bad years, and that's fine, and they can still bounce back, and it's perfectly fine too. It sounds like an extremely cheap way to get money. Well, so that's the thing. If you ignore the relationship, yes. And very often, most people, when they're investing into the stock, and they're playing like say day trading, or they're doing financial trading, they are ignoring the fundamentals of the stock, right? Because they just really need to worry about the price of it, which is strange. But it's like in doing so, they sort of ignore the fact that like the product has to do well for them to make money. But however, then you get into this thing of like the product does well. But does that mean that you need to treat people well, or that you need to make games that actually respect people? No, not really, right? So you get into this weird dichotomy where it's like, sure, you can make a product that does really well, that cares about people, that isn't like a cash grab. But what's the point when you can not do that, put less effort into it, and make a lot more money? And you see it reflected on the stock market, because those people are still divorced from those decisions, right? And not even just like people, even like larger companies, because it's high frequency trading. It's pretty much all the way down algorithmic trading. Anyways, that's my rant on money. That's my rant on money. There's no way to make money cheaply. I mean, yeah, that's true. Making money is always hard. There's a lot of money available to be made. It's hard to make the money, but it is out there. You just need to figure out how to find it. But it's never going to be easy to make the money, and it's never going to be cheap to make the money. But there's a lot of it out there. So, and when there's that much out there, and when more money begets more money, and the stock market is like the best way to get more money with more money, because more money on the stock market means you can buy more of the stock, and thus drive value up because of scarcity. You get into some weird, interesting scenarios. I think scarcity applies. I think. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's see the gameplay. So now we know about their business practices. But what about their gameplay? They get new character, load character options. That's weird that they even like write this out. What people see in the beginning. Like when I think of my game, I don't even think of like the UI. I think about how the game controls and how it feels first versus the UI. But immediately they go into what a player sees when they start the game and they see a menu. But I'm like, I feel like the menu needs more iterative work. Because menus are always like this weird iterative process where it's like you think it's gonna work well, and then you kind of play it out in your mind, and then you realize, oh wait, like if you do it like this, and the hitboxes are like this on these specific screen sizes, it's very easy to make a mistake. So maybe we add a confirmation step, but then it gets annoying for most confirmation steps. So maybe we redo the entire thing. And how do you even imagine a different screen size and a different mode of like playing with your game, right? It's hard. Player generating new characters is vice president with the choice of race. We plan to offer 5 or 6 human races: hill people, forest people. Yes, the hill people, the forest people. Yes, so many diverse two types of peoples. After race, the player was selected to like design class or subclasses. Use most weapons, gain extra attack speed, move faster himself, which is having spells, cast them more powerfully. In the real game, it's like your class doesn't matter. Anyone can do anything. Player chosen load character, they'll just go with their own character. This is the town, they go downstairs. You can right click to attack a creature. Wait, what? Left click to cause interact with a dynamic action. Honestly, a dynamic action on a left click, it's a handy thing to to have in the game. Now we understand stocks. Wait. This is not financial advice. I just gave you like a very quick rundown of like my rant on it, but my rant could absolutely be filled with complete misinformation. You need to go figure that stuff out on your own from an actual expert. I just gave it as a quick rundown of what I think, is the cause of like things. Hey Narf, how are you? The fun really begins when the player guides his character down the road and enters the abandoned temple. You know, generates a layout, the thing. The game runs a turn by turn basis. Player moves, and the opponents move. Each character and monster. It is funny to think that this game used to be turn based initially in the design doc. Because David Brevik, he like gave a talk at GDC. And thank you for the financial advice. I'm gonna get banned. He gave a talk at GDC and he was like, initially it was turn based, and then somebody made it real time, and then they were playing it real time, and then they were like, whoa, and they were like, oh, that's sick. It's like, yeah, of course it's gonna be sick. Real time is amazing. Mind you, just a year before Doom released, so it's like we all know about the power of real time with Doom at that point. You're good. You're watching Megan A. There's playing a stupid horror game on Discord. What's the horror game? Wait, you should join them actually. Horror games are always fun. The first scout also moves, hitting the fighter. Oh, right. And it's like, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, maybe... Okay, so aside from the marketing, the gameplay flow, the game proposal and the game timeline, and as well as the development, I think my game design doc is actually the exact same. Noroi Kago. Oh, I saw the game, actually. Noroi Kago. Yeah, it's on the Games Fest, actually. The Grudge domain. I think it's on the Games Fest. Yeah, it's a 4-player co-op one. It looked interesting because it was a weird like I don't know how to describe it. It seemed like a very Japanese folklore inspired game because you had to figure out and hide from yokai and stuff. But then I saw this and I was like, I don't know if I really want to play a game that's about hiding from yokai again. I don't know. It's not really my thing. Or rather, I can't stand playing games where you need to hide from a monster anymore because I feel like my brain is done with the process. It's strange to say because like it was fun initially for a while in the Phasmophobia, but I think because Phasmophobia did it at a time when most people were indoors just hanging out, and because the game had such a cultural relevance in terms of the spread that everyone that I knew played it, I think we're all just immediately burned out on it. But hopefully it's different. Yeah, I mean, Slink is streaming it live. Do give them a check out. Slinker, if you don't know, is the developer of the hit VR chat world, Silent Hill world, the hit popular Silent Hill world. You should go give them a check because. I mean, where else are you gonna get cool VR chat worlds, right? He's a dealer. He's a world dealer. So yeah, go check him out. But it did seem interesting because like the different types of monsters and the different types of ways that they could do things seem cool. But I don't know if I can deal with the slow paced, doing nothing gameplay anymore. There's something about that doesn't appeal to me. At least with Lethal Company and stuff, right? With Lethal Company and I mean, what's that content game again? At least with those games, you have things that you can do on top of the base game that make it engaging versus just you zoning out and running away from it or something. But yeah, so anyways, aside from every other section, I think my game design doc is good because it has the game design portion. What is even the development portion for? Why is this guy in a wheelchair? Why is he in a medieval wheelchair? Content warning. That's the one. Thank you. Condor plans to spend 1 year in development of Diablo. Personnel, 1 year. It took 3 years. Diablo will be arts intensive. We intend for the game to operate in Super VGA mode. The three-quarter perspective requires 8 directions of movement, 3 of which can sometimes be flipped. Sometimes, yeah. Each monster will have multiple graphic depths. You require at least 50 frames of animation. And back then, animation rendering took like a long time. Marketing. There are really 2 products here. Diablo and its expansion packs. Oh, yes, because at this point, they had to think about the money. What's weird is that because I don't need to think about the money, I feel like I'm just like free from the constraints of like this and this. I can take as long as I want. But the reason why I have to do it fast is because people don't believe in me. Okay, so now we go. Okay, what to go in length? By the way, 1992 for the Doom Bible. This is presumably one of the later revisions, right? Um, this is the GTA game design document, and the Diablo game design doc was the pre-production stuff. So maybe it even changed even further. This one seems to have gone through a number of revisions. It's been signed off by K.R. Hamilton. Revision at the meeting. Oh God. Are meetings just everywhere? Like, is there no way to avoid a meeting? You know what it is? Why do we have? Why can't you just read my mind? You know. This, such as a design for the gameplay of a game with the provisional title Race and Chase. No, it's funny because GTA used to be like this like top-down game, so it wasn't the powerhouse that we know of it today. Game structure to be 3 different styles. Wait, sorry, I need to fix the audio on my end. It's a crackling. There we go. Cannonball Run. What? 5.1 concept. Produce a fun, addictive, fast, multiplayer paced game set in present-day world. Gives these players with multiple players across the network, or one player that's a standalone machine. To drive cars and possibly other vehicles such as boats, helicopters, or lorries. Cars can be stolen, raced, collided, crashed, ram raiding, and have to be navigated on a large map. You can play different game modes. There's different games. Like Cannonball Run, Demolition Derby, Bank Robbery as a robber, and Bank Robbery as a cop. The graphics will be landscape, objects will have this, dashboard will have the speedometer and stuff like that. Car sprites, they compress the world. Some form of compression will be used to store the world data. Oh, it's like data storage. What data storage? See, now we're starting to see like different ways of seeing this. You know what it is? It has a striking similarity to the kinds of project documents that you get into business software too. Like you have the goals of the feature, the goals of the game, what it aims to do from a feature perspective, and if you know how you want to go about doing it from a technical level, from a high level, then you note those down too, such that everyone can sort of follow the same process. In which case, it definitely feels like the same way, except I don't know who would even bother measuring code space. Code space will amount to 1 megabyte. I don't even. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, if you use emoji in your code, it's like twice as large. So, like, does it even matter to count it? I don't even know. Space for sound will amount to 1 megabyte. Well, yeah, but like, what is going on? I don't even know. This is a fascinating approach, to say the least. It's definitely an interesting approach. And with this, faces. Oh. Target system, DOS. Oh, I guess they had the care. But then do you even need I guess the code, because the code is probably pushed with the game on some level. Landscape gameplay. The world will be very, very large. Multiple screens. POV. You want to make a really cool open world MMO. And so you try to sell people on the idea by saying it's going to be a very, very large world. Front end. Intro. There will be a pre-drawn, rendered, animated introduction to the game. Multiple screens. Where does it say that? Wait, where? Where does it say that? Multiple screens. I mean, it'd be funny if it said multiple screens. That there would be multiple screens worth of a world. The aim will use a simple menu system as in Doom. Development tools editor. The editor will produce a 3D array, which can be used by both the perspective and isometric engines, so they can also be used by other engines. What's funny is that the editor will produce a 3D array, so it can also be used for other games. As if it's ever going to stay stable between multiple games on the world size. World, a large printed array, number clear landmarks. A large printed map will be supplied as part of the package. Wait, that's interesting. Wait, that's interesting. So you have to look at the map. Huh. So they were planning to give you a real map. That's actually very interesting. Ground type, landscape, cars, pedestrians. Pedestrians will be wandering about all of the time. They can be run over by cars. They will tend to walk on pavements. Types of pedestrians could include school children and lollipop lady. Dogs. What does that mean? What is a lollipop lady? A woman who helps children to cross the road. I love how you know what it's in their DNA. It's like a crossing guard. So yeah, it's in the GTA DNA to have somebody to have the game like to be able to like kill people. So I mean it's pretty straightforward in the ways that they described it. It's pretty funny. That you know what? They were true to what they wanted, right? They were true to who they were. Like manager, DBK, yep. Saturn programming, TBA. Yeah, who even knows Saturn? Do you know why it's TBA here? Who even wants to program for the Saturn? Might not even be alive by then. Okay, well that was also fast. I mean, again, it seems like what I have is fine. Maybe there is no structure, and it's just just treat it as a living wiki, and you update the wiki as you go. But then how come Doom is 79 pages long, and this one and everything else has been under 20 pages? Bioshock's spiritual successor, System Shock 2. Bioshock will redefine the first-person shooter. Game design gives player absolute control of their environment. You are in control. You take on the role of Carlos Coelho, a down-and-out deprogrammer. What? Assigned to... This wasn't the actual story, was it? Hmm. Yeah, reading this, it's like a whole different story. Because isn't the story in the game like you're just a dude who was on 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 the airplane, who was like programmed with with some phrase "Would you kindly" to like do something to go back? Yeah, I don't remember either. I just you know this. The plot was decent, but I was more interested in the plot devices used to push it forward. I thought the plot devices to push it forward, like the idea of you being hypnotized with a phrase, was way cooler in my mind compared to the plot itself. Make your own weapons. 8 to 10 weapons, you see what you get. Your weapons are only limited by your imagination. Incredibly deep weapon system, which is unlike inspired by the superpower creation. Irrationals hit Freedom Force. Holy shit. I forgot about that game. Yeah! Oh my god, this game was so freaking good. So this is Freedom Force versus the Third Reich. This game was so stupid. Basically, you could make a bunch of powers, and you were in charge of a superhero team, and you could make their powers up. So you could make their powers anything. You could combine different effects to make something. It was so good. This game is amazing, and you got to fight Nazis, and it's like it's fucking sick. That's all I really need. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. My favorite dude was I made a hero called Average Boy. It was like your average like newspaper like delivery boy, but he had the power to shoot a one-shot laser from his fingers once in his lifetime because it costed like 1,000,000 action points. So I had to wait like churn by churn by churn by churn. Like I had to wait for the longest time to use it. It would take you like 3 hours to finish a single level. But if you did it well, a newspaper delivery boy would never die. What a great game. Maybe we should play this game at some point. I didn't know Irrational Games made it, but this is a very classic game. It's very good. I still remember this game fondly. Anyways, so I can see what they got the inspiration from. Modifications won't be cheap. You can get weapon things, hacking system, challenge thing. Players and always help us against systems, though. You know what? I'm also glad that other game design docs use too much language to describe something. I worry about using too much language to describe something. Because like, how do you describe something very concisely, right? How do you describe a feature like rolling snow in a way that captures all the complexity and all the depth without getting into the weeds with too much language? Like, how do you make the language very simple and clear and concise? I struggle with conveying my ideas in the simplest form. And I still find to this day that simplification of anything, but especially ideas, ends up being the hardest thing to do. And it's the one thing that feels unattainable to me. The name alone is amazing. Honestly, it's so good. Like, again, because it's such a perfect concept. You're superheroes versus Nazis. It's like, that's all you really need. What a great game. And then, but honestly, the best part of the game, too, is like, being able to customize your hero to do anything. It's great. Convey them through a physics equation. Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Then somebody has to learn physics, and it's like, do I want them to go through and learn like some whole field of knowledge? I don't know. Like, I want to be as simple as possible, to where a 5-year-old can read it and they'll understand. My goal has always been to simplify everything I know down to the point of something that a 5-year-old could understand. Because it means that I truly understand what I'm trying to do if I can simplify it down into almost nothingness, into its purest form. Knowledge. Meet the world. Ionize the air. Genetic enhancements. Stop. The rest of this document features a deeper discussion of the game's mechanics. Most art was created by the game designer Ken Levine, so it's done specifically to avoid get caught up in the issues of aesthetics for the design. Proceed at your own risks. Where's the illustrations? Oh. Oh, I see. So they're like, so they've been detailing like what they want the general flow to be like. I guess the weird part is like, why even bother detailing the general flow? Like, it makes sense from a story perspective because the story itself, you want to detail the flow, right? But I've always thought this about game stories. Game stories feel like they should be done with a tool like this. Like, sorry, I'm trying to pull out the S voice. Like this here. Game stories feel like they should be used and done with a tool like this because you have so many different connections between different concepts and like characters and even objects and things, right? These ideas that you want to keep a track of them from start to finish and the entire flow all the way down. Because when I think of a story or like any story that you ever read, right? Characters are alive in those stories. They have their own place in the stories, and they have the things that they do, and they're consistent in their behaviors. But they're only consistent in so much as you remember how like the ways that they behave. So it's like I feel like using this makes it a lot easier to figure out and to keep and to be aware of like what people are and how that relates to other things. Like I feel like even in the design doc, does it even make sense to put a story instead of mine? Like let's say my game had a story, right? I wouldn't even want it here because the crash is like, does it really matter? I don't know. Because even this, like this whole intro seems to have changed entirely when it got into the game, which says to me that maybe it doesn't really work here. And so it's like maybe you should only focus on the gameplay with what you have then. Maybe that makes sense. Okay, you know what? I'm getting a good sense of what I want my design doc to be like. Now that I know what I want to make. Now let's see Doom. We can assume that this is the end game of Doom's Bible. So this is the end game, final version of the Doom Bible of everything that it had, okay? Because it even includes the following command line parameters. So maybe this is also the what do we call it? Development Bible, basically. Intro and demo loop, yeah, control panel working clever, integral menu. Choice of trainer, commercial only, has own WAD. Play loop, new 3D engine. Am I? am I? Am I missing something? Why is it just empty space? I feel like I'm missing something here. Play loop, new 3D engine. Okay, so the game. How is the game gonna play like? It's gonna be a new 3D engine. That's it. Like that's all you really need. In a time when there's no 3D engine, it's like, all right, we're gonna make a new 3D engine, and they're like, okay, that's all we really need. That's pretty sick. End game. Each game can end in 3 ways. User abort, player death with no lives left, and player victory. Each discovered here. Window overview of dead guy. Choose to continue if you don't. Control panel overview. Oh. New 3D engine. That's the game. It's new 3D engine. Lorelei Chen. John Petrovich. I don't. Wait, Doom didn't have any characters. Wait, Chad, Doom didn't have a single character. I don't think. Next, new 4D engine. They just keep adding more and more and more. Buddy Dakoti. Episode 1. This must be kept small and powerful. It is limited to a 700k download size. I wonder if John Carmack said this. Yeah, isn't it just Doom Guy? Like, who is John Petrovich? Lorelei Chen, Dimitri Paramo, T. Barrett, and Buddy Dakota. You were a soldier in the UAAF. I don't even know. So what's funny is that the story of the game is just told through nothing. You just go in, you shoot. There's literally no story elements in the game that makes you go, oh wow. Like there's actually no. If like I don't remember a single bit of dialogue from the game actually. I only remember text like you found the gun or you got ammo or your health. That's it. Maybe there was story. These actors appear in episode 1. Other players, their suits will be of different color. Demon-possessed humans, Bruiser Brothers, Twin Terrorists. Oh. Insert interesting description of behavior and how they are beat here. To do. Unique bits. The basis used to be Glory Post, like the projects on the research money has current staff. Yeah, Doom Bible. Doom buildings in 3 and 2. So these were cancelled out. That's a cool effect. That's a very cool effect with the scratch out thing. Because this feels like a style on the PDF that they reapplied over and over. Because I don't think they had PDFs back then. What's something? Oh yeah, Easter eggs are noted with a spade, with a black spade. Okay. Easter eggs, toilet standard hall, building descriptions. Okay. What the hell is this? Object graphics. Everything that you need for the graphics, the maps. You know, what's funny is that I feel like maps are still made the same way. We just block them out and you just draw them. And then you just imagine how it feels like to play, and then you block them out with like basic stuff to see how it feels with your gameplay. Actors, unique bits. Unique to this episode are the following things. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing something. What the fuck is going on? What? Okay, so from here on out, the last 10 pages seem to be dedicated to to technical details, like file extensions and script utilities. I could make a 79-page document myself too. I could make a 79-page document if I left the key bits of the document to just new 3D engine. I could do this. I could do this. You know what? I'm not even afraid anymore. You know what? I know what to do with my game design doc. I'll share it with you all once it's done for Snow Job. I finally collated all the ideas I had. And I think I have a good idea of what I want to do now, which I knew before, but like now it's much more condensed, and I'll figure out a way to upload it so everyone can like see it too. Make a 100-page document. Can you imagine? It just gets larger and larger and larger. It's just a giant mess. But that's for next time. Sorry. We're going to move on now. As I said before, we're playing 3 games today. 3 horror games. We're playing some interesting horror games here. No One Lives Under the Lighthouse, Late Homework, and Silent Hill 2. The final one, I don't know how long we can go with the game, but just know that I really want to finish the game because like a lot of people that I watch on Twitch are playing the game, so I can't watch them until I finish the game. So we have to finish the game. We have to finish the game so that I have something to do as background noise. Okay, it's very important. I don't know how long this will take, this whole segment, but I'm sure it's going to be fun because I've only heard good things about these games. But just be warned, today's going to be a much slower day, even with the horror stuff. Up until Silent Hill 2, and even then, it's only because I put the difficulty way too high. Give me a moment to set things up. Break the world record with a 100 pages. You know what? I wish you could see a modern day design document or like a modern day game wiki to see what exactly they like detail, you know? Maybe there's some secret insight. But I guess then it's also a bit like trade secrety, right? Because it's like, that's the juice. You know what I mean? Like, that's the secret. Like, that's the sauce that goes behind the games that you enjoy making. And they must detail some things that are very specific to their way of doing it that they don't really want to get out there because then people could just make anything themselves too. So, who knows? But it seems like that's the case. Give me a moment to set things up. I'm going to go right into No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. I won't even lie to you, Chad. I was gone because I took a shit. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a 5-minute shit. There's no way it takes like 20 minutes. That was like 20-minute shit. And you know what happened during the shit? This happens to me every single time. And I listen. You ever... Do you know the poop knife story? It's a famous story on Reddit about the poop knife. Here, let's go Reddit poop knife. It's a very famous story that tells about my exact dilemma in life. My family poops big. Maybe it's genetic. Maybe it's a diet. But everyone births giant logs of crap. And if anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that a family had a poop knife. It was an old, rusty kitchen knife that was hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk through the hallway and have someone called, "Hey, can you give me the poop knife?" I thought that was a standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. Fast forward to 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was a local dealer and always had guests over because you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling for an hour. I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door and call for my friend. He arrives and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it. Please. What the fuck is a poop knife? Obviously he has one, but maybe he calls it a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver, a dung divider, a guano glaive. I explain what it is I want and why I want it. He starts giggling and laughing. And lots of people start laughing. Turns out, the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my fucked up family with their fucked up bowels. Fuck my life. I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was, and I've been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it, but used it to open Amazon boxes. She'll be getting her own utility knife now. Common question. Why was this not in the bathroom instead of the laundry room? Answer. We only had one poop knife, and the laundry room was central to all 3 bathrooms. I have no idea why we didn't have 3 poop knives. All I know is that we didn't. We had the one. Possibly because my father was notoriously cheap about the weirdest things. So, yeah, we shared our poop knife. So we all have a poop knife? Well, not me. And I think I need one. I've never not taken a shit that is just poop that doesn't clog the toilet. And I don't know why. I don't eat a lot. I eat like a decent amount, but I don't eat a lot. But every time I poop, it's like there's no toilet that can contain my asshole. The only toilet that I've ever used successfully and never been afraid of to like let loose inside of was this one poop toilet that was, it felt like it had the suction of an airplane toilet. It would just vacuum seal everything down. And I wondered, why don't we have that at home? But I need a poop knife. Because every time I poop and it lays sideways in the toilet, you know what it reminds me of? You think this is a meme. You think this is a joke? This painting that I drew? You think this is just a stupid little funny joke that I made to call it a reflection, right? No. This is this was me. This was me 5 minutes ago. Staring at the poop in the toilet not going down and wondering, oh God, I have to do this again, don't I? So yeah. Does it remind you of the Titanic? No, it's not the Titanic. It's this. I'll be right back for 30 seconds. I need to get some water, and I need to just like, I don't know, just like, I just need to drink some water. I feel dehydrated after that push. And we'll come back with some late homework. Hanako's late homework by Soda Raptor. BRB. Streamer comes back. Just to tell chat he has pooped and leaves. What's funny is the reason why I was able to come back is because I hadn't flushed yet. It was just sitting there, just marinating a bit. We're gonna move on now to the next game. Sorry, fixing some cables. This next game is not a slow burn introspective game. It seems like a much more faster paced horror game that's much more in line with sort of like the standard experience. So again, fair warning, I'm a screamer and I want you to know that before you get all comfortable in your chair. If you're a screamer and I'm a screamer, you get double screams, okay? Just be ready because you're not going to have the comfortable time here. This is not a comfortable place for you to be. This is not a comfy, cozy zone today. For all of Spooktober, honestly, I've been having nightmares the entire Spooktober. The lights go out, and I'm like my mind is racing. And my wife is currently at my mother-in-law's place because we split time, and it terrifies me. There's actually just a horror that wakes up in my mind, and it's absolutely terrifying. And I want you to know that because this month has not been good for me from like a heart health thing, from like a mental health perspective. I feel genuinely stressed out and anxious with the games that we're playing, and I love it. It's exactly what I wanted from this month. So this is not a safe, comfy, cozy zone. This is time for you and time for me to stretch the limits of what we're comfortable with in this month. You know what's crazy? The nightmares about exams, they don't stop, right? Even to this day, I have this one recurring dream where I'm going to school and I get lost on the way to school because this happened to me. This happened to me multiple times because, like, for some reason, like, my family moved a lot. I mean, I know why. It was mainly crime and money related. And what happened was that because every time we moved and because no one had time to take me anywhere because we were poor, like dirt poor, they would like figure it out on your own. So I was like, okay. But we had no internet. Like I didn't get internet access. So I was forced to find my way through a city to figure out where my school was. And one day, I'm pretty sure I ended up at a different school, which was close to the school that I had to go to. And I was like, "Hey, I'm here for the grade 5 class," and they were like, "It's next door. It's that school. Who dropped you off?" And I was like, "Nobody. I just walked here." And they're like, "You walked here on your own?" And then they started asking me questions of like, "Should we call your CPS stuff?" And I was like, "No, no, it's not that serious. We're just poor." And they were like, "Oh, okay. I mean, sure, if you want to, sure, we believe you." To this day, I think it's a bit neglectful, but at the same time, it's like there was nothing really wrong. It was just poor, so it was like they couldn't do anything. And I think they recognized that like calling CPS would have been worse. But in my dreams, I get lost, and I have a spare key to an old apartment that I used to live at, which I still have. I still have that key, so I can actually still go into that apartment building, and I can still go up to that unit and enter into that unit, which is weird to me because I can just enter that unit at any time. The lock was never changed, but I can just do that and live there again, and it's weird because like it's in my dream we're so rich that we have multiple backup apartments that I can just stay at that apartment because I'm lost. It's strange. You had nightmares with exams, and then you realize it was real, and you got an F. So true, so true. School really is the largest nightmare. You blame teachers. You know what? Teachers get a bad rep for this. They're trying their hardest. Okay, it's not their fault that I wasn't a smart child. There was just something wrong with me right back a long time ago. Back then. But yeah, hopefully you don't have any nightmares too. We're going right into this. I'm done. Sorry, Mod. Looks like I'm done. Enjoy your bus ride home. Good night, everyone. Tomorrow, I'll still be streaming. I think. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you by tonight on the Discord. I'll let you know. Starting tomorrow, the list of scary games sort of like takes a small break because I've done a lot of scary games recently, and I need like a small break with the scary games, just a tiny bit. Not to say that it's going to be gone for good, but it's going to be a nice little shift in pace with the fishing game. I think we'll do it tomorrow. We'll move it on from Friday, and we'll say it's Thursday. It's fishing Thursday. We'll start with the fishing game. We'll end with Silent Hill because Silent Hill is very much a slower paced game with how you go through it. I don't know what I don't know what the answer is about the math question. I really don't know. Bye everyone. I'm getting out of here. I'm done. I can't think.